Alright, we're here for round one, and those of you who are watching may not know who our opponent is, but I assure you, that is one Jerry Thompson. And that is two very angry kitties arguing in the background. But we're going to keep this hand that doesn't have blue mana. We do have access to Force of Will in case he's playing some combo deck. Deathrite, Thoughtseize, Stoneforge Mystic, and Wasteland if he is not. So leading off with a Pluto Delta here could be a number of strategies. Volcanic Island, probably Blue-Red Delver. Yep, that's Jerry playing Blue-Red Delver. Very interesting, Jerry Thompson. Alright, well, we have a couple options. I think Deathray Shaman is probably the best one here since he does have a fetch line in the graveyard that'll allow us to actually cast a blue spell maybe. If he dazes us, could be a little awkward, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully he doesn't flip his Delver ever. I don't have a removal spell in my hand right now, so... Alright, well, he flipped a daze, so now we can't even force. And probably going to get our Deathray Shaman Chain Lightninged, or perhaps he's going to cast a Young Pyromancer or something. Not quite sure yet. He did fetch quite quickly. But every time they blind flip Delver after playing it on turn 1, it's usually a good draw, and we don't have access to a removal spell just yet, so we're not in great shape, to be completely candid. Alrighty, well, that's a Spell Pierce. That's not going to help us too much. We are going to go ahead and exile one of his lands to get a blue mana. And I think we're going to cast the Brainstorm. Hopefully we'll have fetch and be able to shuffle away some of these bad cards like the Spell Pierce, since we can't do much with that. We don't hit that, but we can... Let's see, I guess we probably want the Underground Sea. But I'm going to go ahead and try to Swords of Plowshares the Flip Delver. And then I'm going to Thoughtseize him, and if he wants to daze this, I'm perfectly fine with that because I get to bounce his land or take his best spell, and I'm okay with that for 1 mana. Alright, so he dazes it, that's perfectly fine. Now we have potential for our Force Will to actually counter something relevant, such as a Young Pyromancer or something, but he flips a Gitaxian Probe to get his Delver active. And Young Pyromancer... See, the problem is that our top 2 cards are like Spell Pierce and Do Nothing. So even though this Young Pyromancer, we could force it, if we do, we're just going to be drawn blanks for next turn. I guess we could have maybe Stoneforge Mystic next turn, which we're probably going to do anyway, but I want to try to make sure it resolves, getting Umezawa's Jite, and hopefully getting that into play as soon as possible. Alright, well, he does have one more land for us to get off of the Deathrite Shaman, so that's good. There's a pretty high likelihood I just cast the Jite next turn just to make sure I get max shuffle value. Or sorry, use my mana more efficiently. We're taking a lot of damage this turn, so... Yeah, I don't want to show him the Tundra. There's no reason to play that right this moment anyway. Batterskull might be a little bit better here than the Stoneforge Mystic. Or, sorry, than the Jite for the Stoneforge Mystic. I'm not quite sure. I think the Jite will eventually take over the game if I can get it to resolve. And I'm just going to go ahead and try to use my mana as efficiently as possible and cast it now. It's a little dangerous to do that because it does let his dazes turn on, but he's already used one, and I do have the force to protect it. But next turn I'll probably want to ponder, equip, and do something else. So let's see what he do. Ponder. That's probably pretty good. Hopefully he doesn't cast Treasure Cruise.
Cruising for a bruising.
Oh, Callie. Alright, well, he chose to not shuffle his library, meaning that he's probably got a little bit of Lightning Bolt on backup, which we're probably going to have to use Force of Will on, which stinks. But I don't really know what else to do. So, take some damage. We're going to equip the Stoneforge Mystic. I don't really care if that guy dies. Huh. Well, it's looking like it's gonna connect here. Maybe he has Bolt and Force. That'd be a little gross. If he double blocks, I'm perfectly okay with that as well. Alright. Sure. Okay, well, we got some GT counters active. We can re-equip that to Deathrite Shaman next turn. Lightning Bolt targeting Deathrite Shaman. Well, I basically just have to force this because I don't have another creature right this moment. He's forcing back. Okay, alright. Well, we're in a little bit of trouble. We can still draw. We can ponder and maybe hit our one of whatchamacalls it, Zealous Persecution. Maybe we'll hit Deathrite and Zealous Persecution. Nope, 2 lanes and Thoughtseize. We're going to shuffle. Did not get super lucky. I'm going to go ahead and kill the Young Pyromancer. And I might have to gain 2 life. We're going to pass turn. Hope I draw something good here. Yeah, this matchup's pretty tough in game 1. And yeah, like usually if you try to grind them out, they just Treasure Cruise and draw 3 cards. You know, we have Treasure Cruises of our own, which I would love to draw, but you know, their deck is just much lower to the ground with Delver and Young Pyromancer, so. Alright, well, we're gonna go to 2 here. I guess that's fine. Brainstorm, yeah. If we draw the Zealous Persecution, we can minus the Insect Aberration and then cast it and kill all his guys. Oh. Casual Fire Blast in your blue-red Delver deck, Jerry? I had higher expectations.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh.
Oh, it's okay. You can laugh as much as you want. Alright, so Force of Will is pretty bad in this matchup. I hate playing Force of Will against Delver decks. Spell Pierce, similarly bad. Zealous Persecution, sweet. The Blue Elemental Blast actually pretty good in this matchup, and Relic of Progenitus is okay in this matchup. Let's see what else I want to cut.
Maybe if you just wasteland it.
Nah. I'm going to trim a couple Thoughtseizes since they do me damage, and a lot of his cards are virtual copies of each other. So Thoughtseize isn't as powerful against him as it could be. But yeah. This configuration of the deck I think is a little bit stronger. We're going to be relying a little bit less on the counter spells, a little more on just having, you know, proactive removal spells as answers. Alright, we're back for game 2 on the play. Let's take a look. Oh, 5 Land Ponder Treasure Cruise is not great against these blue-red Delver decks. Against the older versions of Delver, I might have kept these, although a lot of the blue-red versions don't actually play Wasteland or Stifle or anything like that, so having mana-heavy hands isn't fantastic. So we are going to take a mulligan. Not happy about it. This hand, I guess, is a little better, but it's not great. We still can't even cast our Thoughtseize. But, you know, we're going to probably play this Brainstorm and this Plow super aggressively. I'm going to try to play around Daze as much as I can, but I don't know how much I can play around it. Alright, well, Zealous Persecution. I'm going to go ahead and just blow up his dude. I could wait to see what he flips and then get more information, but if he brought in Fluster Swarm or Spell Pierce against me, he could counter my Plow, and this way we're playing around Daze. Whereas, I mean, I could wait till his upkeep, but if he does flip, he also gains an extra 2 life too, which is important to note. Well, Gitaxian Probe just shields down, as it were. Now he knows all of my secrets. And I do have a boat, and I'm looking to party, but you know, need to draw a few fetch lands or waste interact with my opponent first. So Alright, so he resolves his Brainstorm, cracks Delta. Probably casting another Delver, but could just be casting Ponder or something like that. Hopefully it's just Ponder. Because another Delver... Ooh, Swiftspear. That's gross, actually. Yeah, this blue-red Delver deck ain't no joke, man. I am afraid. I am real sick of Treasure Cruise already. Well, let's pray that we hit a fetch land, otherwise we're just dead. Alright, well, that's actually really, really good. We're going to put this Thoughtseize and this Batterskull back. And we're going to go ahead and fetch up a Black Source. And I am going to attempt to Blue Elemental Blast his Monastery Swiftspear. If he wants to counter that, that's fine. I apologize for all the background noise. My cats are going ballistic on this cat tree, just chewing on the carpet fibers. I have no idea what's going on right now. And Callie is not really helping.
What? I'm laughing about all the puns that I want to say, and then I'm petting the cats to distract me from not saying the hilarious puns that I have. Like, would you say that you and the Monastery Swiftspear are never getting back together?
Well, I've never been with her in the first place, so you don't have to make any Taylor Swiftspear jokes.
Like ever?
Like ever. You don't have to like ever make a Taylor Swiftspear joke. This is what I have to deal with on a daily basis, just so you guys know.
Me.
I do love you. It is ridiculous. Alright, well, we have this plow for this other Delver. I guess we'll go ahead and kill him. We could try to just Zealous Persecution, but I think I'd rather save that for his young Pyromancer. But unfortunately, we are one card short of being able to cast Treasure Cruise that turn. Not to mention, I don't really want to get it hit with a Daze, so I want to try to play around that as much as possible. Maybe he will cast a young Peasy. Ooh, maybe he's going to go for a Sulfuric Vortex here. That would actually be kind of awesome, since I have this blue Elemental Blast. Yeah, that card's pretty good against me. Although he is fetching, and it could just be a Treasure Cruise, and he just wants to get one more card into his graveyard. Could be a Blood Moon. That would be gross. If it resolves. If it resolves, the game is basically over. But I do have this blue Elemental Blast to maybe counter it. Alright, looks like he is just going to cast Treasure Cruise here, which, again, kind of gross. Card's real dumb. You know, we have the same number of lands in play, except he has 7 cards in hand, and I only have 3. I do have my own Treasure Cruise, but, you know, he's probably got old red Elemental Blast, but luckily I have this here, a blue Elemental Blast. So that's nice. Yeah, we're just going to exile all these, play around Spell Pierce, and Daze. Alright, blue and 1. I'm just assuming it's a red Elemental Blast. Most of these blue-red Delver decks play a ton of them now. Oh no, I'm frozen. Oh, Moto.
Just let it go, man.
Choose target red spell. That's not my spell. Oh, okay. Sorry. It bugged out on me like clicking on the blue Elemental Blast, so that was weird. Alright, well he's gonna force it. I mean, that's fine, it's still a 2 for 1. Alright, well all we have is Zealous Persecution, and you know, he got to resolve stuff and we didn't, so that's cool. Ooh. Alright. I'll take a gander. See what's going on over there. Huh. 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 Yeah, it's probably a bad idea to take his young Pyromancer, but he's never going to play the other one, and I do want this one to just kill that one, I guess. I guess I just have to do it now. He's got like burn spells and sulfuric vortex in hand. I should have done it on his upkeep because now he can force it if he drew a blue card. Yep, and he did. I'm just a big dummy. Great. And now he's going to cast sulfuric vortex, and I basically have to draw another copy of Zealous Persecution, or nope, that's it. I was going to say another Blue Elemental Blast, but I've already drawn 2, so that's cool. Alright, well, that's game, boys. Well, that was round 1 against Blue Red Delver. As you can see, Blue Red Delver is a powerhouse. Jerry coming with some cool technology with Fire Blast. Our version could be a little bit better against him. We could lower our curve and play a couple things like Snapcaster Mage to help fight that. Spell Pierce is pretty bad against them, since their deck is basically just like 12 creatures and then 20 cantrips and 8 counterspells or whatever. It's not a whole lot of diversity, and Spell Pierce doesn't really get anything important. Very rarely can counter Treasure Cruise because it usually only costs 1 mana. We could have a few more removal spells, maybe a Path to Exile, maybe a Abrupt Decay and splashing another color. But I don't know. We'll see how we fare in the next few rounds, but that's all for me for round 1. We'll be right back.